Okay, so today I'm looking at 0 Minutes and 0 Seconds from 1962. This is a piece by John Cage, which was a sequel to his famous piece 4 Minutes and 33 Seconds from 1952. We've talked about that piece before on the channel. It's a silent piece that lasts a certain duration. This piece, uh, I'm assuming, is also a silent piece. But let's take a closer look here. So the text reads 0 minutes and 0 seconds, solo to be performed in any way by anyone. For Yoko Ono and Toshi Ichitianagi. Tokyo, October 24th, 1952. And then there's also this text which accompanies it. In a situation provided with maximum amplification, no feedback, perform a disciplined action. With any interruptions, fulfilling in whole or part an obligation to can't read that, sorry. No two performers to be of the same action, nor may that action be the performance of a musical composition, musical in air quotes. No attention to be given the situation, electronic, musical, theatrical. So this version of the piece was written on October 24th, and then this extension of it was written on October 25th. The first performance of this piece was the writing of this manuscript. Yeah, so I guess just writing this down constitutes a performance of the piece. This is 4 minutes and 33 seconds number 2, and also part 3 of a work of which Atlas Eclipticalis is part 1. So Atlas Eclipticalis was written in 1961 for an ensemble. It looks like it's like a chamber orchestra. Well, it's a decently sized orchestra. For any combination of instruments drawn from this orchestra, he lists to be played in whole or in part any duration in any ensemble, chamber, or orchestral. An electronic version is made possible by the use of contact microphones with associated amplifiers and louds. Atlas Eclipticalis is the first in a group of 3, of which Variations 4 is the second, representing samsara, and 0 minutes and 0 seconds is the third, representing individual action. This piece represents nirvana, according to Hidekazu Yoshida's interpretations of Japanese haiku poetry. Let's look at Variations 4 then. Completed in 1963, I assume. Any number of players, any sounds or combination of sounds produced by any means, with or without other activities. Originally used as music for a choreographed piece by Merce Cunningham, Field Dances. So in here the materials are a sheet of 9 points and 3 small circles and a short written instruction. All points and circles are cut up for the creation of a program. 7 points and 2 circles are needed, which are all to be dropped on a map of the performance space, creating pieces where actions might be performed. Lines are drawn from the placed circle to the points. The second circle is only used if one of the lines intersects it. The result is a graphic representation of where sounds may occur. So this seems more concerned with spatialization of activity. Interestingly, doesn't really matter what the activity is. And then Atlas Eclipticalis, if I'm reading it correctly, is more concerned with instrumentation. So it is like a conventional orchestra, but you can play none of the piece or all of it or some of it. You can have some people playing or no one playing or everyone playing, right? So I think all three of these pieces potentially have a version that is silent. I think I read yesterday that there's a sequel to this piece as well, so let me talk about that. It's probably composed a lot later than the 1960s, though. And then this is the sequel I was talking about, 1 to the exponent 3. So this is way later, 1989. Um, the Inamori Foundation in Japan were awarding that year's Kyoto Prize in Creative Arts and Moral Sciences to John Cage. Um, this was shortly after Cage reached the age of 75 in 1987. So they were, I guess, arranging a performance of 4 minutes and 33 seconds, but Cage instead created this piece called One³ for them to perform. And effectively, it is just performed exactly the same way. It's a silent piece, but the score reads, and this is only published in the program of the concert. So this is effectively a text score that only exists as a title in a program. Um, this is a fax, I think. Mr. Cage would like to perform a new work rather than 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Here's the title written exactly as it should be. 1 to the exponent 3 uh, equals 4 minutes and 33 seconds in brackets 0 minutes and 0 seconds, this thing we're looking at, plus treble clef on a staff. That treble clef equaling Sofia Gubaidulina, there is an inner clock in brackets. The third International Music Festival in the USSR. Yeah, Cage and Gubaidulina met in 1988 at the International Music Festival mentioned in the score. She made a comment to Cage about his work. Cage explained that she had liked his music but didn't like the watches, and should remember that there was an inner clock. So I guess this is in response to that, like that criticism that a lot of Cage's conceptual pieces, like 4 minutes and 33 seconds, are ruled by the clock. So it's kind of an interesting point, right? It's like it so moving towards this 0 minutes and 0 seconds, he's sort of abolishing the idea of like durations. You shouldn't even need a duration to experience silence. It should just be like 0 point time. And then but also minutes and seconds don't even matter, right? So because we can't as we don't really have an internal clock that knows what a minute is or a second is exactly. So it's irrelevant the way that we measure time. So yeah, he's effectively deconstructed everything that made 4 minutes and 33 seconds, 4 minutes and 33 seconds, right? Um, so yeah, it's kind of like I don't know what to say about it other than he's sort of reimagining what a silent piece could look like, and I guess there's a lot of other scores of Cages that could be realized as a silent piece, but also you could make sounds to realize them. Part of the reason why I wanted to cover this was I think there are performances out there of 0 minutes and 0 seconds. So I think we'll listen to this tape version, and I'll let you know what I think. This is the one in the comments to this video, but feel free to explore all these performances. And yeah, if anyone has more experience with this piece, for example, hearing it live, I'd be fascinated to know. So yeah. Okay, so this recording is like a short demonstration of what it sounds like to amplify a room, basically from the perspective of a microphone, not, from speakers or anything. But yeah, there's like multiple releases, I think. Maybe it's possible it's the same album, but yeah, it's like usually packaged with Cage's other tape or electronic music. Um, so I think this would have been pretty um like pretty experimental and out there in the 1960s, when tape music was already kind of firmly established as a discipline. I think like it definitely marks a shift in his career. Yeah, it makes sense that he would have issues with 4 minutes and 33 seconds and he would want to like revise it, uh, you know, on this occasion 10 years later. And then when he was receiving this award, like uh, more than 20 years after that. So yeah, I guess it's more complicated. I'm glad I kind of investigated this, you know. Hopefully this was interesting to y'all as well. Um, Clearly a lot of people have written about it, so there's no shortage of stuff online to read. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at some Lamont Young, so some stuff from 1960 around this time, some text scores. Um, so to put it into perspective, like, 4 minutes and 33 seconds was very, very original. Then by the time Cage wrote this, 10 years later, the Fluxus movement was in full swing. So text scores were becoming a thing, or you could say event scores. So he's sort of like giving people a little something. Um, I think the dedication here to Yoko and Toshi makes sense, right?